Hey guys, welcome to the channel, and this is the first video that I am making on Godot. And in this video, we are going to see how to spawn multiple clients and a server for multiplayer development in Godot. Okay, so as you can see here, I have a project over here, and inside that project, I have two other projects. One is for the server and one is for the client. And as you can see, both of them are like individual Godot projects with their own project.godot. And as you can see, this is like an authoritative server multiplayer that I'm building. And this is actually I'm just following a tutorial on by Reuse. And this is an awesome multiplayer playlist, and I would highly recommend you guys to check it out. So when you follow this playlist, you will be seeing that you will be having like two folders, one for the server and for the client, like I have here. And you'll quickly notice that it's a bit of a hassle to get the server up in each and every time, and get like two clients and setting up the debugger port, because the debugger port is as an editor setting in Godot 3. And every time you spawn a client, you have to change the editor setting in order to see the logs. And it's just a bit of a hassle. There is a plugin called Multiplay. Yeah, I guess it's called Multiplay from the asset store, but it didn't work quite as I expected. So I was looking for some solutions, and I have come up with a good solution for this, and so I wanted to share with you guys. Okay, so first of all, to make the solution work, we have to get Godot to run via command prompt, okay, or terminal, right? So what do I mean by that? So when I type Godot in the terminal, as you can see, uh, this is like spawning a new Godot instance on my terminal. And to get this working, like when you type Godot, if you want to spawn a Godot uh, client or a Godot editor, so you need to do a symlink. Okay, so what is a symbolic link, right? Now, yes, you can see here. So symbolic link is nothing but like it's like a command that you can specify in your user local bin directory. So this is like a command that we are setting, and we are telling our operating system that whenever we execute this command, we want this executable to run. Okay, so as you can see, since I'm in a macOS, and I have named my Godot application as Godot3.app, because I also have a Godot 4. And in macOS, you have to go inside contents, macOS, and Godot. So this is your actual executable, and I am symlinking that executable to a command called Godot. You can also name it Godot 3, doesn't matter. So like, let's say if you have Godot 4 and you want both Godot 3 and Godot 4 to be accessible via CMD, you can do that. So I am just naming it as Godot for now. And once you run this, this will be symbolic linked. And next time you run Godot, what the operating system will do is first look for the command in this folder. And this folder should be there in a path by default. If not, you'll have to add it to the path. So it'll look at all the available path variables, and this should be there by default in most Linux and Unix-based systems. If you are using a Windows, I would highly recommend to use WSL in Windows, because that will make sure that will help you have a Linux development environment inside your Windows, right? And you can just follow the same thing. So you just have to symlink the actual executable to a command in user local bin, and you should be good to go. Now, once you have this Godot command in the CMD, so Godot supports a lot of command line instructions. Like if you can see Godot command line, you can see that you have a command line tutorial for Godot, right? And we have like a bunch of options that we can run along with the Godot. Like you can check the version, you can make it a quiet mode. So there is a lot of other things to run the project, and we have also options for display options and all sorts of stuff, right? So you can check out this documentation, like what all things that you have in Godot to run it in a command prompt. But what we are really interested in, like how to spawn like multiple instances, right? Now, To get to that, we have to first look at a tool called TMUX. Okay, so what is a TMUX? A TMUX is called Terminal Multiplexer. It's a neat little software or a tool that will help you to run multiple terminal instances. And yeah, so basically you can create a TMUX session, and inside that session you can have multiple inside that terminal TMUX session you can have multiple terminal sessions, and each of those sessions can have multiple windows and multiple windows and multiple panes. Okay, so basically that is what TMUX allows you to do. And even if you exit out of a TMUX session, you can go back in and everything will be there just as you left. Okay, so this is a very neat little tool that is used by many DevOps, and this is like a very handy tool that we'll be using to get this working up. Right now, I have created a Makefile here. So this is all that we need to do to run the project, to spawn the project basically. And so what is a Makefile? So Makefile is like a think of it like a maybe like a task runner or something. So this is like is available by default in both macOS and Linux. So if you are on Windows and using WSL, you should already have support for Makefile. And so to create a Makefile, all we need to do is just create a file called Makefile without any extension. And the name of the Makefile should be just Makefile with a capital M. And the OS should recognize it as a Makefile that you can run commands on. Okay. So the way you define commands over here is like using this kind of like a YAML format. Although I don't think so it's a YAML format. It looks like a YAML, but I don't think so it's exactly YAML. But yeah, so you just create a command like this, like if whatever the name that you want to have, followed by a colon, and then you'll have all the instructions set below that, right? Now for TMUX, I have created uh, a small TMUX tutorial here, like all the necessary commands that you can use. Maybe I'll just show you some of them. Like when I type TMUX, and just hit enter. As you can see, we are in a new TMUX session. You can see that we are in a TMUX session by this green uh, line that you see at the end. Now to exit out of it, you have to press Control B followed by a D. Okay, so this will detach from the TMUX session. Now, if you want to create a new session with a name, and by the way, if you want to see all the TMUX sessions that are presently available, you can do a TMUX LS, and as you can see, we have one TMUX session available. And if you want to delete the session, or if you want to go inside the session, you can do tmux uh, attach hyphen t is the target, and if you type the target to 0, right? So we didn't name anything, so the target just takes it as 0, so it'll just go in back into the session. Okay, now if I exit back by pressing control B and D to exit out, as you can see here, we have a bunch of commands here. I won't go through them each of them, but you get the point here, right? So to create a new session with the name, you can actually do tmux new -s and then give the session a name. So rather than having it 0, it will have like Godot or something, right? And to create a vertical pane, like if you want to create a vertical pane, so you can do Control B and then followed by a okay, sorry, this is a horizontal pane. So we can do Control B and then followed by a uh, percentage, right? And it will create a vertical pane. So you can see we have created a horizontal, and in the bottom horizontal we have created a vertical pane. Okay, now if you want to exit out of it, again you can do Control B and D, and then you can, if you want to attach it, you can again attach it using the same command. And okay, I think we have multiple sessions now. Tmax ls, yeah, I think we have multiple sessions. So if you want to go to the other session, it stays where it is, right? Now if you want to destroy all the session, you can do tmux kill session, and target you can mention 0 and then 1, right? And then if you do tmux ls, all the sessions are gone now. So as you can see here, these control plus B and then this quotation will create a vertical pane. For a horizontal pane, you need to do a percentage. And once you have like multiple panes, to move across the planes, so panes, you can use the left arrow, the right arrow, the down and up, right? For the horizontal axis cycling and vertical axis cycling. And then if you want to close the pane, you can just use the exit command, which is by default. present in all the terminal. Then you can do, to create a new window, you can actually do Control B and C to create a new window. And if you want to rename a window, you can also do that. And you can also go to a specific window by just Control B and typing the window number. Now, if you can see TMUX, if I just type TMUX, you can see the the name of the window is bash, and the window number is 0, right? Or the name of the window has changed now. So if you want to actually name it, you can name it Control B and uh, a comma to rename it. So you can rename it to Godot or something. Right now it will stay as Godot, but the window number is going to stay 0. So if you want to move to a new window, if you create a new window, move to a new window, you can just go to that by with the help of this index. So that's what this means. So Control B and the name and then the window number to move to that window. As I said before, to detach from a session, you just have to do Control B and D. So Control B and D will detach from a session, and TMUX will have to list all the sessions, and to kill a session, we can do TMUX kill session of 0, right? Um, to attach a session, we can also rename a session, like we have to give the target session name, and then we have to give a new name for it to rename an existing session, right? So you can just pretty much use this is all you ever need to use TMUX. And so since we have covered TMUX, now let's go back to this Makefile. And so TMUX also allows you to run everything via TMUX also has this like a API to do all of these commands that you're doing manually via keyboard, right? So all this TMUX also allows it to like have like a API to code so that it runs in an automated fashion. Now, what we're doing here is we are creating a new session, and we are naming it the new session as Godot, and we are naming the new window as the Godot as well. So, right, so we can have a name for the session, we can have a name for the window as well. And then we are the send keys will basically like send command to the command prompt, right? So we are going to open Godot, and we are going to specify the path for the Godot project. So this path basically has to be the path where your project.godot is present, right? And then we mention the particular scene that we want to run. This will probably be your main scene. And since this is a server, I'm going to start this without the window. The -d, I think. Let's see what it does. Yeah, okay. So this runs in the debug mode, so which is essentially what we want, right? So we want the Godot instance to run it in a debugger mode, so that if we hit a breakpoint, the Godot will stop, and we can inspect and what is happening and everything, right? Um, Now the C-M is basically like a thing that we need to add at the end of every command, so that it will execute and it'll return back to the it'll do a enter basically on that. Okay. Um, then what we are doing is we are going to split the window, the TMUX window horizontally. So we are creating a horizontal pane, and then we are again creating a horizontal pane. So what it essentially does is TMUX. Let me go to TMUX and Control B. Yeah. So this is a horizontal pane, right? Now, if I do this command again, what you'll notice is that it did not split it evenly. It created a horizontal pane at the 50% mark, and since we created another horizontal pane, it created a 25% and 25% of the available space, right? Now, because of that, we are running this command, which will make the layout as even horizontal, which means all the three panes will become evenly distributed, right? Um, then we are selecting the pane that we want. So we remember, guys, the pane index starts from 0. So in the first pane, we already ran the server, so we don't need to run. We cannot run anything on that pane. So we are going to select the second pane, which is indicated by this index of 1. 0 is this. 1 is the new pane that we created over here. And in that pane, we are again sending the keys to run our client. We are running the lobby scene. We want a windowed mode. we are setting the resolution to 960 by 540, and we can also mention the position where we want this. Like I'm basically saying it should start at the x-axis of 0 and 600 from the top. Okay, so basically it will spawn somewhere over here. And I'm doing the same thing for I'm selecting the third pane, and then I'm doing the same thing with position of 1050, which will be around somewhere in the middle of the screen, and at the same Y position, so which will be like somewhere over here, right? And again, I'm running both of them in a debug mode. Okay, so this will take care of running the Godot session. And similarly, if you want to like close all this entire session, right, you can simply run Tmax kill session with the target of Godot. Okay. Now, why do we have this or true? I'll tell you why do we have this. Um, uh, so basically, when the Tmax is not able to find the session, it will throw an error, and Makefile doesn't like throwing an error. So later we'll add the stop uh, as part of the run, and it'll just if it is not able to find it, it'll simply stop over there. So this is like a yeah, doesn't matter if this command is a success or a failure, it'll anyways make it as a success. It'll let make know that it is always a success command. Okay, so that is essentially what this means. Now let's see this in action. Okay, now all you need to do is just cd into the path where this make file is present, and all you need to run is this make run, right? So that is the name of the command that we have to run this entire series of actions, right? Now, as soon as I hit enter, you can see that it just works magically, right? So it just created 3 sessions, and all the 3 sessions have uh, the 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 debug logging that is happening background, and we also have both the clients that are running, and we can just start testing like whatever we want to do. We can just start joining, and we can as you can see, the logs are happening in the background. Like you can see the server logs, you can see each of the client logs and the other client log as well here, right? Okay. Now if you want to exit out of it, you can just do Control B D to exit out, and then you can run make stop to just kill the session, and you can see all the Godot instances were just deleted, right? Now we don't want to run the stop command and run this command every single time, right? Now before that, we can also use this for even starting up the development environment, right? So as you can see, I don't even have the Godot editors open. Now for that, I have created 2 more commands over here. So dev and close. So what this does is the dev command, it basically yeah, so the dev command basically creates a new session called editor, and we have a new window called Godot, and we are basically sending in the keys that we want the Godot to run the server project as an editor, and we are doing a split window, and then we are running the client as an editor, right? And if you want to close, we're just killing the session of editor. Okay, and just like here, we are passing in the bypass flag like or true. Okay, now what does this do? Make dev, sorry, what did I call? Oh, I didn't save it. So as you can see, this is starting up the 2 Godot instances as an editor, right? Now I can switch between these 2. And if I want to just close these 2 instances, I can just come here. And as you can see here also we have the logs that are running. So these are essentially the logs that you see over here in the output terminal, in the output, right? So that is essentially what exactly is also being logged over here. So it's a much more easier way to see the logs. And if I do Control B, and if I do D, and then if it will exit, and I can just run make close, and it'll just simply close the 2 editor instances as well. Now you can just have uh, 2 windows open over here, and you can just cd into the, yeah, it's already top down project, right? So you can just have the editor running in one terminal tab, and then the actual testing, you can do it in another terminal tab, right? And this is like so much easier to start and stop. But let's take it even further. So As you can see here, I just added the close command as part of the dev. So what does this do is like, if I save this, and if I do make run, so it started the two instances, right? Now, if I exit out of it, I do not need to run make stop. Okay. So the stop is already, I have added stop already as part of the run. So what it essentially does is it runs this command first and then followed by this. Okay. And that is why essentially we need this or true. So even if it is not able to find the session to kill, anyways, this will return true, and it will anyways go ahead and start with the new session, right? And that is essentially what we need. So if I do make run again, even though all the sessions is running, it will just kill the session and then it will restart it all back again. And this is like much more easier way to start the both editor as well as the to run test it. Okay. Now I have also added one more command over here. So this is basically like uh, this is a Python formatter for GD script. Yes. So this is a Godot GD script toolkit. So what you essentially need to do is just install this using pip installation, and you should be having three tools at your disposal. One is the GD lint, the other one is GD parse, and I think it's GD radon. So we essentially we are interested in, I think, GD format. Okay, actually there is like a 4 commands. Okay. We also have this GD format, right? So we are essentially interested in this GD format, which will basically format our entire code. So we are just mentioning both the projects over here, and it'll go through every single Godot GD script files in both of the folder, and then it'll reformat them according to the Godot standards, right? So all you need to do is just uh, go here and run make format uh, missing separator. Okay, I'm not really sure why we are getting this error, uh, but I think there is something wrong with the way this is getting invoked. I'll check and let you know, guys, in the comment. Okay. So this is to run the formatter, and yeah, so that's basically it. So we have covered Tmax, we have covered Makefile, and we now know how to run multiple instances of Godot for easier development, right? Cool. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe. In the next video, I am going to cover how to automate everything using Circle CI. So Circle CI has an awesome uh, free tier for doing CI and CD on the pipeline, right? So if you go to pricing, you can see that we have like up to 6,000 build minutes per month. I'm not sponsored by Cycle CI, but this is like a really good generous tier for us indie devs to get our projects or to do automatic deployment and continuous integration, right? I'll cover this up in the upcoming video, so please be sure to subscribe to the channel for to know more about this. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching.